Hello, everyone. I'm Nathan Newbrough, the CEO of the Colorado Springs Philharmonic, and my guest is Julien Labro, coming to us from his home in New York City. Julien, welcome, and we can't wait for you to arrive here in Colorado Springs.
Oh, thanks for having me, Nathan. Pleasure to meet you, and very much looking forward to playing with the orchestra and sharing the music of Piazzolla with the audience in Colorado Springs in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, you know, the Piazzolla is so beloved by musicians all over the world, and of course has become a big part of your repertoire. There's no doubt. You know, you're a master of the accordion and of the bandoneon, and you are bringing the bandoneon here to Colorado Springs. Talk to us about your relationship with Piazzolla.
You know, it's very interesting, as you mentioned. So I also play accordion, and the bandoneon is a very different instrument than the accordion is, even though they're from the same family, and they might look similar to some. You know, they have bellows and they have keyboards on each side, or buttons for in my case. But you essentially have two manuals that are separated by a bellow. And I discovered the music of Piazzolla when I was 12 or 13 years old. Actually, I think I was 12 years old. It was in 1992 when I discovered his music. Incidentally, that was the year that he passed. And I bought a simple tape. You know, at the time they still made like cassette players and a cassette tape. And I remember, so I was familiar with some of his music because accordion players were trying to play it. But the minute I heard that tape and I heard the sound, I realized that there is some similarity in the sound, but the bandoneon definitely brought just his music to a different level, and especially him playing, performing that music. And frankly, it was one of the first times that I can remember as a young man that I realized that music was much more than just the technical aspect and the theory and the harmony. It brought me, like, I still remember, it was just all of a sudden I realized that feelings could be attached to music. Mm-hmm. And you know, of course, perhaps like when we become adults and all that, and you know, you live a little, you realize that music and art in general can move you. But as a young man, you know, as a 12-year-old teenager, I had no concept of that, even though I was involved in music. And Piazzolla really opened that door to me where I realized, wow, music can actually reach beyond just the notes and the music written on the page, but it was affecting me emotionally, and it was, you know, it was like it was talking to me, and that to me was like something that I had never really experienced before, or at least in that way where I was able to relate to it. And you know, call it nostalgia, or you know, lost love, or sadness, but there is something that grabbed me that I hadn't experienced before. So my relationship to his music, even though unfortunately I never got a chance to meet him, I've always treasured and admired his music, and also especially because it was kind of like, you know, love at first hearing. You know, it was just like I was mesmerized to be able to just be feeling this way. And for the first time, I realized that, well, notes are on the page. You know, it's not about what's on the page. It's really about what you can convey with that. That's only sort of a, you know, the nuts and bolts, but there's so much more beyond that. And so it was really, I think I want to say that I grew a lot from listening to his music early on, and it shaped certainly a lot of my career, but a lot of my vision, you know, and then later on getting into composition and arranging, which is a path that he also took. You know, I don't want to say I patterned my career after his, but I've been influenced so much by his career and what he's done for the instrument and for the music that it definitely it's a great inspiration to me for sure.
We were just talking before the recording that you're just back from South Korea, from a date in South Korea, and we were talking about the massive touring schedule that you have. You're in demand all over the world, and could you have imagined that kind of life when you first picked up an instrument?
No, not really. It's kind of it's one of the things that's amazing about just, working hard at something and I guess dedicating yourself to it, whether it's music or other things. I think that, I was clueless. I had, again, perhaps, being naive and being a teenager, just doing my rudiments and my technique as I should, I was a very obviously dedicated student and disciplined, and I understood all that, but again, perhaps my lack of maturity never made me see what music could be and where I could end up. I'm very fortunate to travel. Yeah, I've played in all sorts of corners of the world. I never thought I would give concerts in Kuwait, for example, or Jordan, parts of Japan, all those countries. And like you mentioned, I just got back from a 10-day tour in South Korea, and you realize it makes me appreciate how really this world is so small. Even though you look on a map and the globe, of course, is gigantic, and it's a lot of hours traveling. But when you see people's feelings, the audience, even though there might be culturally there are differences, and it really, the cliche about music being a universal language is actually stand to be true, and call it cliche or whatever. But I've been fortunate to share music and be on stage with or collaborating with musicians from all sorts of walk of life, and we may not speak the same language, but music brings us together, and certainly reaching out to the audience, it becomes just this this love story that we hardly met, but yet we feel one another, each other's energy, each other's feelings. I just find that, even though I've been doing this now for a while, I still find that fascinating to me. And certainly as a young man, I never anticipated that this could happen to me. So I feel, it's like I'm even after that many years, I still, feel that fortunate and that grateful about being able to do that and make a living and share experiences, and then also coming back home to share those experiences with my family, or souvenirs, or things that audience members, not knowing me, would give me after the end of the concerts. I came back because I was over the period of the holidays, Christmas time and New Year, and we had, I think we did 6 concerts in 10 days, which is quite a lot. Travel time, rehearsal time, and audience members that I didn't know would come out after me and bring me gifts to take back home, because they understood that Christmas and the holidays is a special time, and so I was away from my family, and so people would just wait in the cold. Literally, I was thinking, man, these people are freezing, just for signing a CD and an autograph, and then give me a box of chocolate, or give me candles with a special scent, or tea leaves. I've gotten so many presents, and then I take this back home and I can explain to my family what this is. And so it really makes you appreciate the world. And yeah, look, I'm super grateful to be able to do this, and I'm enthusiastic about it, even though I've been doing it for so long. To me, I still feel like it's the first time.
Thank you so much for saying yes to coming here to Colorado Springs. This will be a terrific performance, all Piazzolla, all music of Argentina, and featuring our concert master, Michael Hansen, and of course our music director, Joseph Caballé Domenic. This is on January 21st and 22nd at the Ent Center for the Arts. Such an intimate space and perfect for this music. I just can't wait. Send us out. We're going to link to some of your recordings,
Okay.
and some to your YouTube videos. I've been watching And what I want our viewers to watch, not just is the, sort of dazzling, manipulation of the instrument, but also the fine-tuned nuance that you bring to the performance. As you were saying, it's not just about the dazzle and the flash and the volume. It's about the sensitivity and nuance. And I hope our audience will watch that and see that as a preview for what's to come in this concert.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, music is all about expression. It's a way for us to communicate and express ourselves. And I think that, while I was saying earlier, the notes and the harmony and theory, all of that, the nuts and bolts, is almost like the vocabulary and the grammar. But after that, not everyone can be a great speaker, and it takes years to kind of get there. And I feel like I have so much more room that I want to get to, and I want to grow. And I feel like that's also the amazing thing about music, is really you never stop learning about it. Like anything artistic, I feel like there's this, this elusive chase that you're trying to just better yourself day after day. And that's also a fascinating process. And certainly being able to make your instrument talk and just react to the way you feel with every so slightly is just it's amazing. It's a work in progress, but I love that. And expression is a big part of what I try to bring to music making, because I think it's if just as important of anything technical, and perhaps even more important than just being able to be flawless. Because after a while, with all, we're all talking about, artificial intelligence and how it's catching up to us in some domain. I still think that that's one thing that is going to be very, very difficult to mimic. The true way of expressing oneself, and that's what makes us unique. Also, that's what sets apart a player from another. It's really their touch and their sound. Sound is so important. Sound production, so.
And the humanity, right?
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. And it brings us all together because we can relate to that. It doesn't need to be, one person. You can be sitting with a politician or a PhD, and to someone that's, is just someone that has a different kind of job, but speaks a different language, like I said. But it doesn't matter, because it makes us greater. It unites us, and feelings, and getting together in a room and just listening to live music. That's why I'm so glad that after what we've been through the past couple of years, that we're finally able to, you guys are able to open doors, the halls, because listening to music in a hall is very different than listening to a CD. A CD might be great, but a live performance is so unique, and feeling each other's warmth. And that's something that you just can't duplicate.
Yep. Julien Labro, thank you. And we can't wait to see you here in Colorado Springs, January 21st and 22nd. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Nathan, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.